Now, one of the most important parts of playing rock and roll guitar is big rock and roll motions. If you see a guitar player and they're all sucked physically into themselves and they're doing tiny little motions like they've been playing in their bedroom for 1,000 years, it's not very exciting. But if you see somebody they're kind of like their body's moving and they're bouncing around and they can hit a chord and their arm ends up here, to me, that's much more exciting and much more rock. And it's not always easy to do, because one of the most difficult things about the electric guitar is it has 6 strings. So if you play one note, especially if you play it hard, it means that the other 5, you have to control them so they won't make noise. If you don't control them, it sounds like this. And that's ugly. So you want to use various parts of your left hand to mute out those other strings, because I'm actually picking all 6 notes with as much force as I can. But if I mute properly, only that one note will come out. So the specifics of how I'm doing that is I'm using this part of my hand to mute the trebly strings, using my thumb to mute out the bottom string, and probably the smallest motion is I'm using the very tip of my 3rd finger, which is playing the note on the D string, and it's touching, just very lightly, the A string. So it doesn't ring out. So that way, there's a way to practice scales. Just do it one note at a time and pick everything. It's a great technique. This will really pay off when you go to do a live show and you get the excitement of an audience looking at you. And you just want to rock out and not be all nervous with the guitar. So that's one part of muting. Another thing that's very useful way to mute is pick muting. I don't know if I just made up the name, but this is a way to get a very staccato sound. Staccato is an Italian word meaning short, or short in duration. And as opposed to sustaining, I'm picking it very hard, so it has a strong attack. And I'm not doing typical muting. Most typical muting is with your palm, like that works, and it gives it sort of this nice muffly sound. But this is more of a sharp sound. And the way it works is, imagine my arm is the string, and if I'm picking down, I immediately pick up again, except I stop and just hold the string in place. So this makes the note and this stops it. You can do it the other way as well. You can pick up and then you can stop it with the down. So I don't know if I'll try to do it just a bunch of times so you can see. I'm actually doing alternate picking. I'm doing the down and stopping it with the up. Then I'm doing it up and stopping with the down. Now, my palm is actually muting out some of these strings so they don't make any noise, but the string that I'm playing is not being muted by my palm. It's purely being muted by the pick. And I really like this sound. You can make really interesting and very aggressive sounding licks by going, So it's a great technique. And of course, there's regular old muting with your palm. Again, very useful. Just gives you that, it makes you make this kind of face. That's very metal. It's very chug, chug, chug. Especially if you do one big upstroke on all 6 strings before you hit the chord. So that's some ways to control the notes that you're not playing, which is really the battle with electric guitar. If you're playing one note, you can't. You got to control those other five. You know, piano players don't have to do that. You know, if the piano sits there, it doesn't make any noise. Guitar starts taking off. So be careful with those noises. Control the instrument. Mute every way you can with your palm, with your pick, with the various parts of your left hand, and make it sound beautiful.